Welcome back to another one of my videos here. For today's topic, we're going to be covering suicidal thoughts and in particular how to cope with them. Now, one thing that I'd like to mention about, the phenomena of suicide in general is that people who usually experience these thoughts and go through and commit this act have the perception that, the challenge that they're experiencing is permanent, that it can't be solved. So that's the only resolution they can come up with. So what we know is that by surrounding that person with a lot of love and support and raising their awareness to the different things that can put them in that kind of a psychological state, we can help them change their, let's say, focus on that. So we can show them a way through their challenges in a productive way rather than ending their life to escape it, right? There's different ways to cope with different challenges that come up in life. And we just need to be aware of the different methods and supports that are out there. So what we're going to go through in this talk is the different ways that people who are experiencing these kinds of thoughts can cope with them and obviously stay alive, right? And not commit this act. So for the first point that we can go with, don't make a decision today. You don't need to act on your thoughts right now. The option of taking your life isn't going to go away. You can make this decision at a later time. Try to focus on just getting through the day and not the rest of your life. You may have had these thoughts before, but you feel less able to cope today. You might find that you are more able to cope in a few days. So not making a decision today reminds us that when we're under stress and pressure, that can affect our views of our life and what we're dealing with, make us feel more overwhelmed than usual. And then, for people who are experiencing suicidal thoughts, that may influence those thoughts harder at that time. But you just have to remember that's just a product of the moment. It's just temporary. As I said, it's not permanent. So just hold on those times and get through them, keeping that in mind. The next point is be aware of your triggers. Triggers are things which might make you feel worse. Triggers are different for different people. You may find that certain music, photos, or films make you feel worse. Try to stay away from these. You could create a wellness plan to help you be more self-aware. It can help you to identify triggers in your life which can make you unwell. It may help you to write down your triggers. If you can understand what your triggers are, it can help you to be more in control of your feelings or stress levels. You can share such an action plan with your family or friends if you want to. Sometimes it's helpful to share with your family and friends because it can help them to understand you more and support you more in those instances. Another point that we have to consider around the topic of suicide and suicidal thoughts is staying away from drugs and alcohol. Alcohol affects the parts of your brain that control judgment, concentration, behavior, and emotions. Drinking alcohol might make you more likely to act on suicidal thoughts. Drugs affect the way you think and feel. Different drugs have different effects. For example, cocaine can make you feel happy and more likely to take risks when you take it, but you may feel depressed after the effects stop. Other drugs can cause hallucinations, confusion, and paranoia. You may be more likely to take your own life if you take illegal drugs for these reasons, right? So it alters your perception and your awareness, and you may engage in risky and dangerous behavior that you otherwise would not. So consider that if you're involved in those kinds of actions. Another point to consider is going to a safe place. Go to a safe place where you feel safe. You could try these different places out. Bedroom, a mental health or spiritual center, crisis center, friend's house, or a library. Stay away from things you could use to harm yourself, such as razor blades or pills. If you have a lot of medication, you can ask someone to keep it for you until you are back in control of your feelings. So this is just because, when we're not in the right frame of mind We're not our usual selves. Once again, we're likely to make mistakes. Someone could do something in the moment to harm themselves, even if they don't really want to at that time. They've just got a lack of control because of the emotional state they're in. Something else that you can do to help cope with suicidal thoughts is talking to other people. It could be helpful for you to talk to someone about how you're feeling. There are different people who can help. You could speak to friends, family, or your GP. Your friends and family may want to help, but might not know how to straight away. If this happens, you should tell them what you want from them. You may want to talk about how you're feeling, or you may want them to help you get professional help. If you don't want to talk to people you know, you could call an emotional support line, use an emotional support app, or use an online support group. So it's good to stay social, guys. It's good to have positive people around you. They can uplift your spirits. They can just be there to talk to you. You don't even necessarily have to tell them the kind of thoughts and emotions you're experiencing. You can just have positive conversations, and that could change your whole psychological dynamic and shift it for the better, okay? So try to surround yourself with good people who are optimistic and positive as much as possible. Be around other people. You may find it too difficult to speak to anyone at the moment. That's okay, but try not to spend too much time alone. You could go to a shopping center, gym, coffee shop, or park. Being around people can help to keep you safe, even if they don't know how you're feeling. So, if people are around you and let's say there's someone who's experiencing suicidal tendencies and they decide to do something to themselves, if someone's watching that, they could physically intervene, they could say something, they could distract you, they could call for help. That's what we're talking about here. There's extra safety when you're around others who are in a calm mental state, and you may not be experiencing that at that time, who can help you, all right? Another point to consider is distracting yourself at these times. You might feel it is impossible not to focus on your suicidal thoughts or why you feel that way. If you focus on your thoughts, it might make them feel stronger and harder to cope with. Try doing things that distract you. Think about what you enjoy doing. So bring your mind to focus on your passions and good things that you got going for your life. Below are some things you could do as a distraction. You could read books, magazines, watch films, TV, go to a museum, draw, paint, listen to music, play video games, could sing, spend time with your pets, and set small goals to focus on. Consider also making a list of all the positive things about yourself and your life. It might be hard to think of these things right now, but try. Think about your strengths and positive things other people have said about you. At the end of every day, write down one thing you felt good about, something you did or something someone did for you. So this is just to help, elevate your mood, because when we're stuck in low moods, that's when we tend to have these kinds of negative self-defeating thoughts that can lead onto these suicidal thinking patterns. Another thing you may wish to consider is exercising, because it can have a good effect on your mood and thinking. Exercise is thought to release dopamine, serotonin. These are feel-good hormones, so you might want to consider that. Also, try relaxing. There are different things you can do to relax. You can walk around in a green space like a park, listen to nature, pay attention to nice smells such as coffee shops, favorite foods, treat yourself to good foods that you like, looking at images that you like. Meditation or mindfulness is a really good one, or breathing techniques and guided meditation. So my friends, brief and general overview of how to cope with suicidal thoughts. I hope this information has been productive for you. Please share it around with anyone that you know who may be dealing with this challenge. It's a pretty sensitive topic, but it's good to talk about it. And by talking about it, we can support one another and get better together in our lives at dealing with such situations. So thank you so much for your time, and I hope to catch you on my next video.